Here's something interesting you might not know. According to the latest CNN report, the rate of young men looking for dates has declined. Yes, men aren't even looking to date women anymore. It's another thing to not be able to find a woman to date, but it's totally another story if the men aren't even trying. The report stated that most young men are single. Most young women are not. In another research, Pew Research Center put out this very interesting piece that talked about the historic rise in single Americans. What they found was interesting, but also created a lot of curiosity in the academic community. One of the things that were very fascinating is that young men are twice as likely to be single than young women. 66% of young men are single and not dating, but only 34% of young women are single and not with someone. So, what's happening? Young guys are tired of not being able to find the right women their age because the women their age are just dating older. They're just dating men that are in their early 30s that maybe are more financially stable or more mature. Maybe they're more stable in their careers. They finished their degrees, they've started paying off their student loans, they've got a mortgage, or a car, or whatever the case is. To a lot of women, that is very appealing and attractive. A lot of the studies have shown that on average, women still want men who are making as much of them, if not more. And the emphasis there is on the if not more. It turns out that since 2019, the share of single men who say they're looking for dates or relationships has declined from 61% to 50%. In 2018, 28% of men ages 18 to 30 reported they'd had no physical relations in the past year, compared with 18% of women of that age. For me, the primary reason is the power imbalance that exists in the dating market. It's made clear with statistics on dating apps, such as the likelihood of getting a match. It's much higher if you are a woman instead of a man. Men are the seekers, the pursuers, the chasers, so naturally the access, so to speak, is controlled by women. They can afford to be pickier than men when selecting their partner in the online dating context, of course. But I'd imagine this also extends to real life as well. I'd also think it's about perceived social values. As a man, your attractiveness will probably take a bigger hit if you are a failure socially, financially, etc. than if you are a woman. In the current state of things, where many young people in general feel a little lost, are possibly lonely, or just failing at life, men are going to suffer slightly more from that in the dating market because a bigger part of men's attractiveness to women is in relation to those things than it is the other way around. Also, according to the CNN report, in the last 40 years, more women have graduated from college than men, and they're not interested in partnering with non-college grads. They now own more homes, single women than single men. So, what you have is women say they won't date anyone shorter than that. 50% of them effectively. The average woman in the dating market today between ages 18 and 29 or above are still wanting men who are able to acquire more resources than them, and who are able to outturn them. The challenge that I think has happened is that we can talk about social media and dating apps and all those things. But one of the biggest discrepancies that I think has started to emerge is that as women have become more and more financially independent, their mate or selection preferences have adapted or changed along with that financial independence. So the reality is that women, even though they say they don't need a man to pay for anything, there's still in many cases this underlying expectation, or this underlying desire to have a man who outearn them. From what I can see, women consider breaking even in a relationship as a loss. If a woman can't get a man that can do more than her and have more than her, then there's no reason to be with him for anything other than a pastime. It seems that only once women experience truly overwhelming desperation will that mindset change. So as a young man, you really can't consider any physical relationship as anything other than transactional. It really feels like doing anything else with your life would be better than pining for the delusion of romance. So, as women are starting to make more and more money, their expectation and what they want in a partner is that that person still out-earns them. That person is still somebody who is able to provide more than them in some capacity, and this, I think, is really impacting young men. Because if you're a woman who comes out of college, you have a college degree. Maybe you get a job, or at college, you're making 50, 60 grand. You're looking around at the men that you went to college with, or maybe you're looking at the men on Tinder and Bumble and Hinge, or whatever the platform you're on. First and foremost, you're starting to see that fewer men have a college degree. So suddenly, for women who have a college degree who prefer men that have one as well, something like 70 to 80% of women who have college degrees will not or don't want to date men without a college degree. As you have this rising rate of men who are not graduating college, who are not even going to college, and you have this ballooning number of women that are going to college and graduating from college because it's now flipped right. It's like the vast majority of college graduates are women. It's only like 41 or 42% of college graduates are now men. And so, that's inverse from what it was in the 1960s and 70s. In the 1960s and 70s, it was the opposite of that. It was only 41 or 42 of women that were graduating with a college degree. So now it's switched and fewer men are going to college than ever before, and fewer men are getting college degrees. So, part of the challenge that's emerging within the dating market is that in terms of women's selection preferences, what they're looking for in a man and in a mate, that pool is shrinking. Here's a thought. Men aren't only not dating and not finding partners, but we are failing to build close friendships with other men and in-person social networks that women are attracted to. Ignore the career-chasing women. They're a lost cause if they elevate that above marriage, but most women are drawn to men with good social standing who are respected in their social circle. They're social creatures. In a nutshell, the majority of today's modern women want a man who is better and more successful than them in the most important life segments. They want higher earners, more intelligent, better educated, stronger, and emotionally stable partners whom they can look up to. It's in their nature and gene code, but the real question is what they provide in return. Are they pretty, friendly, fit, feminine, and supportive? In most cases, they are not, and have zero incentive to work on themselves, because they think options are unlimited. That's why most of them remain single or divorced with kids. By 2050, projections are that more than 50% of women in their 30s will be single and childless. The problem is real, and the future is grim for both genders. Hypergamy is the real reason. I've been saying this for a while. We as men need to grow our expectations higher and stop giving women whatever they want, while also sacrificing our own well-being. This isn't supposed to be for revenge or anything, but because women have so much more freedom in choosing their partner, they can be so much pickier than us men. And we as men keep simping and sacrificing who we are just to be with a woman. This isn't healthy for either gender, and this isn't to make women feel worse. A society with a large number of lonely, angry, frustrated young men is bad, and if this problem is left to fester, it could lead to chaos and destruction. Being single and without a partner is only part of the problem. In this modern world, there is a sense of emptiness, specifically within young men. There is no calling, no purpose, and no reason to rationalize our existence. We just live day to day in modernity, enjoying cheap thrills that for the moment bring joy, but don't last very long. There are no more great adventures to be had, no new things to discover/explore. There is no great evil to be defeated. Thanks for watching Man Reacts. Show us your love and support by liking this video, sharing it with your friends, and subscribing to the channel. And let us know your thoughts on this in the comments. We're always up for a healthy debate and discussion.